Hey everyone, Rick here, and folks, let's crack open this pack of Dungeons & Dragons, Icons of the Realms, Waterdeep Dragon Heist Set 2 of 7 pre-painted figures from our dear friends at WizKids. How much did I pay for this? This was $50 at my friendly local game store, unless I used a loyalty discount to get 20% off. I can't remember. I bought this so long ago, and today I've just been unboxing and recording so many things that I figured it's time to unbox these guys as well. I just haven't needed them yet, but they've been sitting there waiting to be unboxed for quite a while. But at $50, it's less than $10 a figure, which seems like, still quite a bit. But let's take a peek at these guys outside of the packaging. Full disclosure, I do not play Dungeons & Dragons, so I have zero idea who these figures represent, but I do play tabletop games, skirmish games, war games, my own RPG tabletop hybrid game, Dicey Depths. Check my channel for videos on Dicey Depths. And I love pre-painted figures because I do not want to touch a paintbrush if I don't have to. And so thanks to WizKids, they have typically a nice selection of pre-painted figures that I can go pick up because I'm going to need all sorts of different figures for Dicey Depths. And I thought this set had at least something in it that I was interested in. So let's take a closer look at each of these. Forgive me in advance, I'm going to be slaughtering these names right and left. Who is this? This is Yala Growland. Yala Growland, perhaps. I love the detail work on the back of the gown or dress. Look at that. Look how nicely that is done. That's fantastic. And then the face. When I am picking up a set of these, I'll look at the package. If there's more than one, I'll hold them up and I'll say, okay, which ones have the better paintwork? Which weapons are less warped than the other? And look at the face on this one. Her face looks fantastic. And just looks like a decent NPC to have in a manor house, out in a ball, which it seems like a lot of these figures are attending a ball of some kind. I noticed that in set 1. All right, who do we have here? We have Nimblewright. Is that right? Yep, Nimblewright. A lot of these figures have these rapiers outstretched, but this is some kind of automaton or something, or is that just armor? Again, I have zero idea, but it looks like it's some kind of robot automaton, because look at all that. That's gotta be an automaton of some kind, mechanical in nature. So very simple attire draped over what appears to be some kind of mechanical man, but he's got the facial hair, that brass facial hair, to really seal the deal, and that is a good-looking blade. So that is Nimblewright. Moving on to my least favorite. This was one of my favorites until I thought it was a hand crossbow at first, until I looked closer and saw it was a firearm. I'm one of those old school, keep your black powder out of my medieval sword and sorcery fantasy, but who is this? Who is this Drow Gunslinger? And that's exactly what he is. He's a gunslinger. I wonder if I don't know, because I don't have any other figures that I could mutilate and maybe get a little hand crossbow off of them and replace this gun with that. Maybe cut it off at the wrist and glue on something else or something. I don't know what I'm going to do with him yet. But yeah, just not even if I could add on a couple little pieces that curve out here and curve out here and kind of make it into a hand crossbow. Because look at the rest of the figure. The rest of the figure looks fantastic. You can kind of see the red pupils of the eyes. I love this dark attire. I love the shield. The rest of this figure looks fantastic. It's just a damn shame he's got a pistol instead of a hand crossbow or something. So yeah, that went from my favorite figure of this set to useless to me unless I can modify that firearm in one way or the other. Now we also have Barnabas Wind, which is absolutely probably one of my favorite names. Of course, when I use these figures in my own games, these names don't tag along. We discard those names instantly, but what a name. I may have to leave that one be. Barnabas Wind. Fantastic. And this was another one of my kind of more favorite figures. The eyeglasses, the almost kind of Elton John-esque eyeglasses, kind of turned me off a little bit, but not the biggest deal in the world. I like the pendant. I like the robes. I like the staff or the walking stick, whatever it may be, a little pouch hanging off there, hanging off the belt. Just an interesting looking figure, nondescript NPC, or maybe something more. And then we have this guy, which I absolutely love. He reminds me of just a generic tavern brawler. This is Urstelfloxen. Urstelfloxen has a big chunk of his face ripped off. He's been in battle a couple times. Look at his eyes. He's almost like looking in that direction, like, oh, I can still feel the pain of that wound. But he has a very cool sword in hand, very generic looking attire. So yeah, he just looks like a mean old son of a gun that you might find in the local tavern about to cause trouble, or maybe a sword for hire. And then here's kind of a nice little noble or an NPC with the name of Oriongland. Oh my gosh, are they brothers? No, wait, not him. No, who was Growland? I swear someone was named Growland. Oh my gosh, it was her. So these two are either brother, sister, husband, wife, or something like that. But here we go. Just very kind of generic, noble attire with this very nice walking stick, walking staff. One of his eyes almost looks like he has a black eye on one of his eyes, but the facial hair is done pretty nicely. Very just interesting looking figure, a nice complimentary figure as an NPC or a noble. And then this last one is also very cool and not something I have much of in my collection. This is Saith Cromwell. And I just like that he's got a notebook open. He appears to be writing something, sword sheathed on the side. He is a little colorful with this yellow and green, but overall, decent look. The face almost looks kind of bewildered or inquisitive. And I like the pose of writing something down, like maybe a watchman or something, or a captain of the guard taking notes or something, or an investigator of some kind, inspector. So yeah, love that as well. So those are the 7 figures of Icons of the Realms Waterdeep Dragon Heist Set 2 from Dungeons & Dragons WizKids Prepainted Figures, folks. Thank you all so much for watching. That'll do it, and until next time.